What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I'm That Guy Health, and today we're gonna go over the goblet squat, okay? But before we get into that, we're gonna cover some safety situations, all right? One thing is this: make sure that you stretch or SMR, which is self-myofascial release, your muscles if need be. You always want to stretch and warm up, period, before you go into overloading the quads or any other muscle group. So make sure you do that. The next thing is we're going to be doing a goblet squat, which means the weight is going to be on the front of the frontal plane. So you're going to have the weight here in front of you, and then you will be executing a typical squat. So when you do that, make sure that your feet are about shoulder width apart, or maybe just outside the shoulder, not too far. You want to make sure your toes are tracking forward. Sometimes people will have a slight angle out, but if it's too drastic, that is evidence of some overcompensation, overreactive and underreactive muscle, which means you might need to do some muscle correction before getting into that. Another thing is this: you want to go ahead and start adjusting your distance from where you're going to be. Now, if you notice right here, I have a tire here. I use my tire for a multitude of things, and one thing that I typically use it for, especially when it comes to my clients, is giving them a point of contact or a goal. All right, so a lot of people sometimes are, a few people, I'm not going to say a lot, I want to try to pass judgment on anybody, especially the masters, but what they'll do is when they get in a squat, I'm going to show you two things that I typically see. Well, actually, I'm going to show you three things, and let me go ahead and face you when I'm showing you this. Sometimes when people do squats, even myself, very minimal, you'll see a knees kind of go inward, showing that there are overreactive muscles there, or you'll see them go outward, showing also underreactive and overreactive muscles. Okay, those are some of the things you see. Those things should key a trainer into the fact that there is some correction that needs to be done there. Some muscles need to be lengthened and relaxed, and some overreactive muscles are definitely present, and those are the ones that need self-myofascial release, the overreactive muscles. You don't want to roll a muscle that is already lengthened or is not overreactive. That's kind of counterproductive in a way. All right, so another thing that I'll typically see is, especially as they get deeper into the set, is they tend to lean over more than really getting into the squat, kind of performing a deadlift, not a stiff leg deadlift, but a deadlift, because they're doing this. You want to keep your chest upright, all right, and you want to go ahead and put the butt in the hole. So usually I'll say put your hands in front of you in the prayer position, gives you a point to look up, and there you go. Okay, just like so. Now, everybody's depth point is not going to be the same. And if you pay attention to some people that do squats, especially all body squats, is the best way to see this, because it's unweighted and it decreases the chance of injury. You'll see that the pelvis will tilt, the hip and pelvis will tilt. That's telling you once you get that tilt down, you've pretty much maxed out. You probably shouldn't go any lower than that. You could risk injury, knee situations, all that. So everybody's depth might not be the same. That's why sometimes it's beneficial to have a chair, have an adjustable platform or a tire, something where you can adjust the height, especially with this. So as a trainer, once I see that type of indication, I'm not going to push that person past that point just yet until we identify the situations where what's enabling them not to go as low as they can. So I like to at least see this depth right here, almost 90-degree depth, and then push up through the heels and come out. Now, if you notice, when I go down, the toes are wiggling because I don't have my pressure in my toes. Now, another rule of thumb is this: you don't want to have your knees tracking over your toes. So when you see people squatting like this, the knee is tracked over the toe. That's bad for your knees. You want your knees to fall just in line or behind the toes. So you need to be more back here, right there, and then push up through the heel. Do not push up through your toes. So let's go ahead and execute one without the weight on the tire so you can see what that looks like. All right, so first thing I want to do is don't just go right into the squat. Get adjusted, see where your foot placement is, because if you sit down here and your feet are back here, your knees are already tracking over your toes in that position. So that's where they're going to be all the time, and you can already feel the pressure in your knees just from that. I want my feet to be out here, right there, just moving my feet up. Pressure comes off my knees. I can feel transfer into my quads, and that's what I want. All right. So once I get that placement, you want to remember where your bum needs to come, because if you don't, you're likely going to miss the tire and fall flat to the ground. That could cause injury. So remember where your bum is. Keep your feet where they are once you're in the set, all right? All that readjustment while you're handling weight or you're in the momentum could cause injury. If you're gonna reset, at least do it while you're sitting down. So right here, I'm gonna push up, boom. Come back down, push up, boom. Come back down, push up, boom. Right there, I'm still pushing through my heel, okay? That's what we're gonna do. Now let's go ahead and get into this. Do a few reps of the goblet squat. Now I use a kettlebell. You could use a dumbbell. You could use a weighted ball. You could use any of those, whatever that you have that is within means and that is comfortable to you. So there's two ways you can hold a kettlebell. Sometimes you can hold it right here by the round edge, bulging edge up, or you could take it, hold it by the handle, hold it right here. I like to personally hold it this way. It just feels more comfortable to me. So like I said, I'm gonna get here. Really right there, I should have put the weight down and then grabbed it up, but right here, get my feet in, make sure my knees aren't tracking over my toes, have a nice posture, and I'm gonna push up through the heel. Boom. 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 Now if you notice, I stand tall and taut, but I do not lock my knees back. Do not lock your knees back. That is horrible. You're overextending, okay? Don't lock back. That is a horrible situation. Keep a little bend in the knee right here, but nice, and tighten up the glutes at the top. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you operate a goblet squat in this fashion. So you could use this platform, that platform, no platform. So long as you have a good amount of control, you're able to handle the weight, and you're able to perform the rep properly. That's the most important thing. Can you perform the rep properly? Is the weight manageable? And is your form good? All right? So listen, like I always say, I appreciate you all stopping by. Thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell so that you don't miss any episodes I put out. And hey, be safe, let's build together, and peace.